Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so let's get into this. This is going to be one of these specific messages. These are the ones where if something pops into my head, I roll with whatever that image is or idea is. And I had the not just the image of it, but also like the flavor of it. I hate cinnamon flavored candies and gums. I don't eat that stuff. Ugh, I don't know why. I just, ugh. Um, and it was like somebody had put a piece of cinnamon gum or cinnamon, like, what do you call those, the chewy ones, cinnamon bears, but there's another one, hot somethings, red hots, something like that. Anyway, for me it was like ew, but that's what popped into my head, so we'll keep that in mind. I don't know who this is or what that represents just yet, but we are starting out with that. We have a Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And my immediate impression is somebody has also lost their wallet or money, just like temporarily can't find it, is searching around. I'm picturing somebody like patting their pocket, looking a little frantically through their purse, looking around in different places around their house where they may have dropped it, left it. Um, I'm picturing more of a man's wallet, though, than like a purse. It's if it is a purse, it's not the purse that's missing, it's like the wallet that would be inside. But it looks more like a man's wallet in my mind. With the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, normally this would be a card of like characters working together or working on themselves in order to start working together. We do have on this card a lot of different examples of work. We have a child working on, something on their laptop, their computer. We have somebody doing artwork. We have someone working on like their artistic endeavors as well, or athletic endeavors. We have someone else working like in a garden space. We've got a chicken, kind of like scratching the ground, doing work. So lots and lots of different things that it says someone is not interacting, or somebody is not, maybe they're going to be late to work or they're not going to work specifically because of something else. Maybe if we're talking about that flavor of the cinnamon or the spicy or red hot or something, maybe that's just it. Maybe somebody's like, I think I don't want a dressing down today, so maybe I won't go to work today. maybe I'll say I couldn't find my wallet, couldn't find my keys, so I'm not going. But really it's like someone is avoiding going to a situation because I think they don't want to show up at that event or that location for some reason. Now, on the other hand, we get the Knight of Swords, which is like there is someplace else they want to go. They want to run away from this, or they impulsively want to go someplace else altogether different. I'm getting this impression that somebody's going to be lying. You're going to be making up a reason. Hi, guys. Great to see everyone. They may be making up an excuse so they can skedaddle someplace else. This could be a person who wants very much to go someplace else instead. So they're finding a reason that they can beg off or not go. Where do you want to go, character? We've got, I don't know why, but I always think of this card reminds me of like the Dakotas, or reminds me of someplace in a desert location, or like flat plains or something. Okay, we have a Two of Cups. This is starting to take a shape. By the way, now I look at this and I think of like Havasupai Falls, someplace that has a really, Oregon has some amazing waterfalls, Niagara Falls. Yeah, I mean, there's waterfalls all around the world. I'm also thinking Switzerland. I'm thinking a lot of different locations right now, but wherever this person actually would rather go, they're making an excuse. They might even be causing a commotion, causing a fight. What's the deal? Hang on, I want to backtrack for just a second, because is the flavor of the cinnamon, is that more a metaphor for like somebody who's actually starting a fight? Is it like spicy words or something? We got a Five of Cups sideways. If anything, I would say it probably is like a frustration, or maybe it is about spicy words. Now, again, this could be somebody who's just like popping some gum in their mouth or something, as they are. This looks like somebody who's going to be traveling, flying, driving, going someplace to get to their Two of Cups. But first, we have them taking a day off work, getting into an argument with a partner just so that they can exit it because they're already frustrated. They're feeling a sense of lack or loss. Maybe they've recently gone through a loss. You know, even in fictional stories, I never want my fictional characters to have to go through anything painful, but this is very much the image of a loss of a loved one or someone near and dear to them. That could be the trigger for this. If a character has gone through, a loss of any kind of relationship in their life, that could be the thing that makes them say, you know what, I'm entitled to take some time off, some personal time, but also I'm entitled more now than ever to realize I want to be where I want to be. I want to be with someone I care about right now, especially, but maybe in general. It almost feels like somebody's abandoning an entire lifestyle because something kind of catastrophic happens and they say, you know what, I'm really sad. But on the other hand, this has given me the gumption or the kick in the pants or the like internal permission for me to say, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go after the things I really, really want. It just feels like someone has like a pivotal moment in their life and they just decide to go ahead and do something for themselves that they really, truly want. Now, obviously, we have a lover's embrace here. We have somebody possibly with dark hair. This, just because of the way he's dressed, always kind of looks like, I love mariachi outfits. Oh my God, I think there's nothing quite as awesome looking as a mariachi outfit. That's what this makes me think of. So it does put my mind in like Latin America, perhaps. But then we have that bald eagle, which is, a feature of the United States. That's our national bird. So I could see it being somewhere in the United States or in the, somewhere in like the southern states, possibly in the US. Doesn't have to be. It's just those are the little side notes on this. But this energy of like overflowing need to like communicate, overflowing need to almost like get in touch with a person that they really, really care about. That's what's kind of like overriding everything else right now in this person's mind or heart. It's more important than whatever their previous connections were. We've got a Four of Pentacles sideways. Even if it means sacrificing money, even if it means sacrificing a job, I really feel like this person is just tapping out and they are leaving some kind of a situation behind because it's not as important anymore as this. This is more real life than, saving every penny and saving for a big house and saving for a 401k and saving for a retirement. And it almost feels like someone's been sacrificing a work-related situation for love. And I think that the reverse is what they're going after now. Someone's been kind of kept behind. I feel like I want to say the walls of the Forbidden City, which would be more like, China, and we have a Chinese temple here. But I don't know. It feels like they've been more or less removed, isolated, kept within like the confines of, a lifestyle. And it's just like, I don't care about this lifestyle. I don't care about the upkeep of it anymore. I'd rather, this is a card that really does represent freedom. Anytime we see a bird flying, represents a sense of freedom to choose what we want. Princess of Swords, Six of Cups. So it's a Two of Cups, it's a Six of Cups, it's a soulmate, it's a really important relationship. And it's something where it's like, I would trade diamonds for roses now. I would trade money for love. I would trade almost anything just to get this, just to have my person in my arms. It definitely feels like this, we're going to say he is ready to just kind of leave an old life behind for love instead. And then we've got with that Princess of Swords, this would normally be the Page of Swords in any other deck. So this is somebody spying. And certainly we have with the Princess of Swords, we have someone who is being spied on. We've got like a helicopter / fish thing in the sky covering her eyes, which is another reason I say she doesn't know she's being spied on. She can't see it, but they're like helicoptering around her. So I'm thinking that even though this is impulsive, he must know right where she's at. But I doubt this is like something that he hasn't been monitoring her for a long time, paying attention to where she's at. Sometimes she has beautiful bronze skin and dark hair. Sometimes she has light skin and blonde hair. It doesn't really matter. Maybe she changes her hair color or something. Maybe he knew her with a different hair color at some point. But regardless, it's like, it could also be like maybe in every lifetime, regardless of, you know, what body, what size, what shape, what gender we're born into. It's like, that's always still going to be my person. You know, if that's the realization here, I could see that there is some kind of like powerful connection here for this individual. Now, we don't know what she knows about all of this. Somebody has a like a stare, and I'm guessing it's her. She may have a way to show a lot of her opinion on her face sometimes, because we also, down below her, like right over her chest, we have kind of like a carved statue. It's not exactly Medusa, but it's not exactly not Medusa either. So I'm thinking that she can turn people to stone if she doesn't like somebody. I think she has a way of like really shutting down. And I think that he knows this about her, you know, resting bitch face, maybe. Look, that serves its purpose. Everybody has to be able to show when they're saying, don't cross a line with me again. You know, every animal on earth has a warning signal that they throw. You know, cats raise their ruff on the back of their you know, neck and shoulders. You know, dogs lift just the corners of their mouth and we see their little fangs. You know, every animal has its warning sign. Hers is a stare. So I'm going to say that's very specific to her. It might also be something that they don't like seeing that look turned upon them. And I'm guessing it has been turned upon them in the past, for them to know that she's got that kind of power, and it can freeze them in their tracks. This is like when she's unhappy, she doesn't get loud, she doesn't get mean, she just gives a look, and it's like, holy smokes, I'm withering. So I'm going to say that he's seen that on her before. Him, her, doesn't matter, but we do have decidedly like a masculine here and here, and then we have a feminine coming across as both the Six of Cups and the person who's being spied on. So that's why I'm going to read it that way. Okay, so at this point then, we saw him more or less abandoning a previous life, just gone and done. I was talking about somebody flying, but now we're in a vehicle. We have the Chariot, and this is leaving behind the bones of their old life. And there's nothing left. I mean, there wasn't a reason to stay. A long time ago, he should have already left this life that he didn't really want to be a part of. He should have left it behind, because there was already no reason to stay. So whatever the life was that he was living, he'd already outgrown it 100 times over. The mountain is an obstacle, but she could also live on the other side of a mountain range. Just because we do have the full moon here, this may be something that isn't happening until the next full moon. This could be you know, a series of events that plays out before they actually get in their car and leave, or before they, I mean, this feels impulsive, yes, but it also still feels like, because the Chariot is like very definitive. Now it's not impulsive anymore. So to clarify an impulsive action, we get really clear. Like once the decision has impulsively been made, once he kind of like walks out of some situation, he already knows, I'm actually not coming back. You know, it could have been after experiencing a loss or something, and then he decides to do something impulsive, and it decides he needs to go see this person that he's been spying on for a long time anyway. But as soon as he even starts that journey, it's like, this is actually it. I'm not ever going back to that previous life. Somebody could drive in a red car, or maybe the Prince song, little red Corvette comes on. We also have this crustacean floating across the sky with a little pearl necklace on. So I'm just going to say, obviously this is Cancerian, so we have a little crab across the sky, but with little pearl necklace. I don't know if this is just the pearls of wisdom, or if there's a gift of jewelry or something that they either want to give to her, or sometimes a pearl necklace can be associated oftentimes, like in Victorian times, with like somebody wears pearls at their wedding or something, and it has kind of a wedding feel to it to me. But it's like maybe the wisdom that's the person I should have married. What the heck have I been doing, not building in the right place all this time? Why have I been working on some other chapter of my life somewhere behind the walls of the forbidden city, in a life I didn't even want to live in, instead of building with the person I truly did want to live with? And that person that they want represents freedom, is what I would say, because this is a wide open road, the freedom. This is, the freedom of a waterfall, freedom of, loving right out there in the open and the outdoors. All of this looks to me like we've got a sense of freedom when he thinks of her, versus a sense of confinement when we look at what his life was. So pretty significant change for this character to be abandoning confines and finally like kind of uncaging their heart a little bit. I'm missing something about those bones. I don't know if it's, I know, again, these are weirdly specific, so I'll just say it, but I'm picturing somebody who like ate a bucket of like chicken or something. There's like chicken bones or something still sitting on the counter, or something when somebody leaves. It just feels like debris from a plate of food or barbecue ribs. I really picture like wings first, though, like chicken wings. We have the Hermit. Again, we have the key to a Chevy. I know this is like a big old caddy, right? But we got Virgo energy coming in. And again, here we are like out in Bryce Canyon now. And we have, this is the trickster. This is Coyote. Coyote is known as the trickster. In the midst of the canyon, though, we have this really kind of cool, kind of like Saqqara, like step pyramid built in the middle. We could think of it as a temple. We could think of it as, other cultural, like hidden in plain sight, like sacred spaces or something. And I almost feel like this journey that this character is taking toward their Two of Cups person is incredibly sacred. Like they are changing. Something inside of them is changing even as they free themselves and start moving toward this partner. Almost like they got tricked into staying in like a false persona for a long, long time. But the act of them finally moving toward their Two of Cups is kind of like this sacred journey. Look, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm picturing a couple days of travel to get to this person, particularly if they're traveling by car, but maybe also by flight. I know this now looks like it was one flight followed by a long drive, but it has the impression of at least daytime and nighttime coming across. I would say at least twice here, just because we have day, we have night, we have day, and we have her asleep in bed here, and then we have a daytime here also, kind of like almost evening. So I would just say that we're looking at 2 to 3 days of travel. But this is some kind of element of like, this Hermit's journey sometimes we think takes a really long time, but in truth, when we take a real action that's authentic for us, and we realize some truths, once we've put that action, that right action into play. I mean, like I know in my own life, I've made big decisions sometimes, and I thought about it for a while, and I kind of like held myself back, and then finally I made the decision. And it's like once a decision is actually made, and you've actually, ended one chapter of your life and you're going in a new direction, like that's it. There is no looking back. And now there's only the future. And then you start to realize like a lot of you has changed. And it seems like you accelerate like a journey toward like becoming a different person and changing your life, even if it's only, a couple thousand miles that you're driving, or even if it's just, one single action, and then you go, I'm never going back to that again, never. And from there on out, your whole life is different. It's when you really know that you've changed something and you're never going back. I think that's where the hermit's journey both begins and stops almost simultaneously. Like, wow, I made the choice. Sometimes the hermit's journey is what we're on inside of our head while we're still trapped in some other situation. And it's the day we make the decision is the day that we actually are completing the hermit's journey. Or at least I've experienced that before, if that makes any sense. They are changing, though, pretty dramatically over these 2 days of travel. What does that mean? Six of Pentacles, everything about the way they think about themselves, about their life. They don't think of themselves as a single solo person anymore. It's like they're already in a relationship before they arrive. They're already thinking about sharing a life with somebody. They're already thinking about what this life is going to be made up of. And it's much more colorful. They may be thinking like, will this person that I want to give to me as well? But I don't really think they're questioning that. By the way, that's exactly what the moon looks like tonight. I don't think that they're questioning that. I think that for them, this is because the Hermit's card preceded. I think this is all them making these transformations within themselves. Like they're ready to be a part of an actual relationship that they choose for themselves. Two of Pentacles. Again, I'm ready to be a person who's in a connection with another human being. It won't just be me making my own life decisions. It'll be me collaborating with another person. It's going to all be about balance, equality. I have to factor in what another person wants, what my person wants. They are already saying, I'm willing. Look, I don't want to say it like they're willing to be anybody that this person wants them to be. But the amount of compromise they'd be willing to make is significant. They're very ready and very willing to say there's so many things that I don't care about anymore. So many things that aren't important to me. What's important is that I'm with a partner that I really choose. This could be right down to we see them like leaving a career path, leaving a place that they used to live, leaving a life behind. This could be somebody who's like, I don't care. I'll change total career paths. Once upon a time, I was, like I said, I worked in the palace. That could just be a metaphor for like a very affluent lifestyle, or, a place where there's a ton of money. Everything's gold, everything's, jade, everything's rubies. And now they're in flannel shirts and cowboy hats. Yeah, I would be happy living someplace in the country instead of in golden cities now. They would be willing to change almost anything at this point, because this doesn't hold any allure at all. In fact, all that was entrapment. So this character has had a lot of changes in their mindset. Again, they could be a Virgo, they could be almost anything. We've had a little bit of everything show up, but Virgo and Cancerian specifically for them. Not very many major arcana though, right? We've only had the two. Everything else is minor arcana, which really to me shows the journey happening here. And since the only two majors are Chariot and Hermit, it really is a personal journey, right? That's what this whole story is about. It's not even about the person they're going to. It's about one person has found where they belong, the life that they would choose for themselves. And it happens to be to surrender everything that they used to have and go toward this. Can we get one more card on that Two of Cups then? Nine of Wands. This is, I will definitely say that their feminine here is someone who could, like in their mind, is very either elegantly dressed, has a certain otherworldly or different timeline kind of vibe to her. The problem with this is, where's her face? Her face is missing. What we see is more like a microscope. And I have to say that even though they say she's my person, the thing that they really think of her is she's amazing, she's elegant. They've kind of been dazzled by her. I don't really know that they know her that well, but they think she knows them very well. It's like I'm under the microscope when she looks at me. She doesn't just look at me, she looks into me. But here's the thing with the Nine of Wands, they do know that she's had hurts of her own that they don't know anything about. I don't love the fact that there's a lot of her that's a mystery to them, and they're dazzled by her, but they don't really know her. Even down here, we have like a kind of like a Chinese opera mask, like someone who would be in, a performer. And I feel like they know just enough to know that they don't know much about her. The Last Judgment, maybe that's why they're saying I should have been beside her long enough to get to know her, to get to know what she's gone through, what are her struggles, because we're inside of a volcano with this, and we have this phoenix trying to rise from the ashes here, but you notice we have like a big old eyeball here and here. I'm feeling like they were always so much more focused on their own life, what they were going through, that I kind of feel like everything that was happening for them was their primary focus. They knew that they were amazed by her, but what they think of about her is like, she really paid close attention to me. I don't love it. I'm not going to lie. I feel super selfish. Super selfish. We have Scorpio energy on this Judgment card. The fact that they call it the Last Judgment, to me, that says a lot. I mean, we see them leaving behind a whole lifestyle. We see them wanting to be with her. We also see them acknowledging, I don't really know that much about her, but I know that she is somebody who pays attention to me, and I know she's had plenty of her own wounds. So they're not oblivious to that, but I don't think they've ever been present enough to like be beside her. Like, this is going to be a pressure cooker. Maybe this is where we get all spicy also. They're going to have to ask her for a second chance or for a do-over. But as much as they feel like she's connected to them, I guess this always makes me think like, but I can see why you would want her back, but what do you really know about her? Like, how much have you invested in, being present or any of that? And I know they're saying, well, that's why I'd want to do that now. Seven of Pentacles is sideways. I feel like it's been a long time, a long, long, long time. We see her kind of asleep, and we have somebody's hand coming and, touching the crown of her head here as she sleeps, almost like waking her up gently. My impression right now is that this is kind of where they stored her in their memory banks. Almost like they can't fathom that she's gone on and had a life without them, and that maybe lots and lots of things have happened to her because they haven't been privy to it. So in their mind, it's like Seven of Pentacles is passage of time, and they're just like, I think, telling themselves that somehow whenever they knew her before, but then still chose to stay in their previous life, somehow she's just been put on pause, and it kind of like a Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, come in and kiss them awake. And then it's like they haven't considered whatever her life has blossomed into. We have blue roses over here. And that Nine of Wands, it's both times they see her as like, possibly this could be wounded energy, and this is definitely wounded, but also heroic. I don't love it. This again makes it come across as someone who's pretty out of touch with anyone else's life other than their own. And on one hand, I get it. Everyone, everybody has to, take their own steps in life. But, we can't put ourselves in someone else's shoes or spend every waking minute imagining what someone else's life is like. But this is somebody who like doesn't even have an imagination that anything could have happened in her life while they've been over here in the Forbidden City in their golden palace, working to keep a life going that they didn't actually even want. So the Empress has likely built quite the empire for herself, an empire that they, again, would know nothing of, because we've got some sand dunes and pyramids back here. She seems to be, if they think that they're coming back to just a feminine who was like a wounded warrior, they don't know the half of who she is. She's an empress. This is somebody who has followed their own dreams, their place in the universe. You notice we have like the Milky Way galaxy. They couldn't have fathomed. She hasn't been like somehow just hibernating since they've been elsewhere. She's been living her purpose. So this is somebody who's got an entire empire of her own. There's that Ace of Swords, and now we have the Medusa head again. So once again, she has the ability, and maybe this explains why she has the ability to use nothing more than a facial expression to freeze somebody and, you know, make them wither and tell them with just one look, don't approach me again, we're through. You know, like she has the command. An empress has a certain way of letting people know with her own regal flourish what is and is not acceptable. And so now it makes sense why she has the Medusa's stony stare when she wants to. I feel like she has actually put them out of her mind quite some time ago, unbeknownst to them. This is an energy of her both being loving and present in her own life, and also having no difficulty in, you know, cutting away the things that are not part of her empire. So I don't think she's been ruminating on them or spying on them at all. In fact, quite the reverse. I think she hasn't probably given them much thought. Yeah, death card. It's especially this year, I feel like her attention has been entirely turned towards some other aspect of her life. She's making big changes in her life this year. Now, Scorpio energy, and by the way, we did have her come out as a Libra or Taurus, but she's made big changes in her own life this year, in particular with that death card, that Scorpio. We've got a big old fatty rattler back here, or python maybe. So she's shedding an old skin for sure, and butterfly wings and everything. So she hasn't got any space in her mind or her memory for them. She will probably, I mean, she might even be like, I'm sorry, who are you? I mean, if they haven't been around with her and they haven't been co-creating with her, and it's been, look, that Seven of Pentacles says it could have been a long time. I mean, it could be 7 years, it could be 7 months. It's probably not just 7 days. It doesn't have to be 7 either, but it's been a long passage of time. So her life has moved on. And this year in particular, she's on the cusp of some massive shifts and changes for her own empire, which is super exciting. Got a 10 of Swords. It's weird because if anything for her, she's known other chapters of her life that have ended, and there's been like a culmination for her of understanding that like eras of her life are over and it's full steam ahead into new chapters. I feel like she's had more than enough situationships, relationships, things that have ended badly. We've got like a half crocodile, half fox creature here. We've got someone holding a stop sign here. We obviously have somebody with a sword in the back over here. She's known enough individuals who haven't been truthful, enough disappointments, and I think she's learned how to clean house. And we've got a couple of feminines scattered here and there in this as well. So she may have discovered false friends. She may have discovered false lovers. She may have discovered that there's plenty of people that do you dirty in life. It's better to find out and then let them go. So she's in a chapter of her life where I think she's just done like a whole life overhaul. I don't think she has very many people still around her from her past. So they may not have such an easy time arriving in her life, assuming that they're going to start, you know, connecting to her, because what we really see is her changing everything here. Let's see. 8 of Swords. And again, we have the Cobra sneaking up behind her. Okay, so she could still have a soft spot somehow, somewhere in her memory bank when it comes to them. Everything else she's let go of. Everything else she's made peace with. Is that why this is happening now? Is she like, so much of her has like cleaned house, and so much of her is like ready for the new, and so much of her is let go of everything? But look, letting go of one thing or letting go of someone is one thing, but letting go of the memory, you can't just eradicate a memory. You can say, oh yeah, but I let them go. I mean, of course I remember it, but I did let them go. I moved forward. But I'm wondering if there is still that thing about them that stays in her mind. I'm wondering if this is one of the real reasons that there's like this sudden impetus on their side to like make these big changes in their life. Because I feel like these are the final little threads that still connect them. And they're little delicate like cobwebs at this point. They're just cobwebs in the back of her mind at this point. I think she's really ready for like a big chapter change in her life with that 10 of Swords and her being an Empress. So if this person is trying to enter into her world now, Princess of Wands, well, she's ready to have some fun. Even if they stay like a cobweb in her mind, she's ready for some new lovers. And I say lovers because she's probably a Princess of Wands is the Page of Wands. That's the first little step towards seeing what's out there. This is having different cups of coffee. It might be a long time since she last kissed somebody. So this could be like she's ready to, whatever, get butterflies in the tummy, see stars, whatever the, cliched sayings are when you have a first kiss with somebody. She might be excited about the concept of like kissing a new pair of lips, having a new romance. She's in a whole different energy. She's built herself a life. She's let go of a lot of things. She's feeling renewed. I feel like she looks very youthful also, no matter what age she is. She looks really young. We have a 10 of Cups. She's definitely ready for a new pair of lips. She's ready to romance or be romanced. She's ready to go out honky-tonkin', line dancing, two-stepping, I guess sipping on some Bloody Marys. She's ready for happiness, fun. 7 of Wands can be blockages, but it's how we overcome blockages. She's ready to go to musical concerts. Like her life is going to be full of people, experiences, joy. It's not like her only mission is I must find a new long-term partner. It's more like I want to party, have fun, romance. She's more like, it feels like somebody who's 18 again and feeling excited about like their sense of freedom to meet whoever they want to meet, and everything feels fresh and new to me for her. So look, if she's in a mood to have a good time and they're showing up ready to be like, I want to be in a relationship, I don't know that she's in that same space. She may have like I'm not saying she's going to be a groupie exactly, but there may be like very specific like bands that she wants to go see, or like certain events that she wants to go to. Like this is important for her. 4 of Wands, she wants her 4 of Wands life, and her vision of a 4 of Wands life is adventurous, multicultural, all kinds of different, colorful events. But I don't see her thinking, all I want is to find somebody to marry. She's an Empress, but she already built her empire. Now she wants to have a good time. Now the other thing to add into her life is what would make my life balanced is maybe more playtime. So she might be pretty financially stable right now as well. I don't know that he's going to recognize that this is what's coming, or the person that he's about to go and meet is like footloose, fun, fancy, having a good time, wanting to party a little bit. She may not be that serious about this person. To put it mildly, he's coming in like, I want my Two of Cups. I want my soulmate. I want the person that I know she really paid attention to me, and I know she was wounded, and I know there's a lot I didn't get to know about her, but I know she really cared about me. And he might be going back and being a partier, a party gal who's like, yeah, I'm not sure if I have that much time to pay that much attention to you. There's so many other awesome people in my life right now. Look, an Empress is not going to dismiss anybody, but I also don't think she's going to be giving her mega attention to one person who didn't build the empire with her. So what happens here? What's the next step here? King of Cups, Six of Swords. I mean, to put it plain and simple, it's going to have to try to convince her that he is fun, that he is the best thing, that he would romance her, that he will take her to honky tonks and take her out sky watching at night and go to drive-in movies and date and be emotionally available and make it fun, because she wants fun right now. She wants love. She wants, enjoyment. This is like, if this is what he's going to have to do, is make her basically choose him, it's going to be through him now paying more attention to her. The reason he was coming back is because he thinks of her as his other half, even though he didn't know that much about her, because he didn't really pay that much attention. Now you notice that the roles are reversed. He's hyper focused on her. He's hyper focused on, what does she want? What does she like? What does she need? How do I get her to pay attention to me? I think that's the big message in all this, is, especially as we end it here, there's a lot that he's going to have to try to get her to pay attention to him now. But it's by him getting to know her in a way that he never did before. If she likes long drives, out to go sky watching, then those are the kind of dates he needs to take her on. If he wants her in his life, he has to actually get to know her this time, and she needs to be his focus. He's not going to win her any other way, because I'm not saying that she's selfish. I'm just saying she's already figured out what she wants and what makes her happy. I don't see her shifting gears because he pops in and she's like, oh, okay, let me give you all of my attention. I think he would have to more or less make her want to pay him some attention, which, again, I think that that's the balance of this, is he now needs to get to know her. He needs to try to be a part of her world. He needs to finally pay attention enough to get to know who she is, what she likes. And I mean, as in doing that, he may finally really be able to fall more in love, with the real person, instead of just love how she's treated him in the past. All right. I'm going to leave this one here, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Really good to see everybody. Yes, baby, I'm coming. Eduardo Jimenez. Hi, Decoded. AC. Hey. Hi, Lulu. The Light. Travis Rhodes. Great to see you guys. Rock Me. Thank you for the roses, love. Angelina Davina, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for hanging with me tonight. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. It does really help the channel. Hi, Brile. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Victoria Knox. Good evening, my dear. Hi, Annette Summersby. Holly Stoker. Hi. You guys always bust me up. I'm always laughing. Hey, Dory. Black Butterfly 25. Hi. Hi, Bridget Gore. Carmen Enriquez. Thank you for being here. I'm delighted you made it to the live. Astrofuck, how are you? Jessica H. Awesome to see you. I know, right? AC, we need to have a little bit more backstory on her. Evo Designs. Hey. Nice. That's you in the gum. Awesome. Calm C. Hi, honey. Hi, Star. Did you say gas station wings make you queasy? I didn't know that they had wings at gas stations. I've never been a fan of chicken wings. I don't really like. I've tried making them at home, and I was like, oh, they're pretty good. And then I just don't ever think to make them. So I guess that they're not one of my faves. I've never been to like the restaurants where that's what they specialize in. I never thought much of chicken wings. They're tasty, but I just don't crave them. It's time. Great to see you. Astronoid, hi. Uh, oh my God, Astronoid, good point. Yes. Sipping on fireballs. Yes, I didn't even think of that. Crystal Suzanne, hi, sweetheart. So wonderful to see you. FK Slay, awesome to catch you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Nikki O is in the house. Hi, babe. Miss Moody, awesome to catch you. Beth Ross, hi. I know, AC. I've noticed that YouTube does all kinds of funny little things with just like it'll pop up little alerts and stuff. I don't know really why, but in any case, it always gives me a chance to celebrate you though. So that's nice. Thank you so much for being a member, love. Johnny the Carnet. Hi, honey. Thank you, Johnny. Um, all right, you guys. Take care. I am going to tomorrow we'll get back to the other zodiacs. I have my lungs back, so I think we'll be able to get back on track for this week, and I'll try to make up for all the lost videos that I didn't get to put out. I'll probably squeeze in a Cancer video somewhere on this channel also, since Cancers got cheated on Tuesday because I didn't put out any videos on Tuesday. Well, I think I did one, and that was it. So anyway, all right. Astronoid, I probably won't do another one live tonight, but I will make sure that the one for April the 4th comes out at midnight. And then the one, the signs and symbols that come out at 5 a.m., that'll be out also. And then tomorrow we'll do some more lives. Okay, my baby is calling me. Yeah. Hi. Hi, my baby. It's almost Aries' birthday. Aries, I can't pick you up from there. It's too awkward. Aries is gonna be 4-year-old man pretty soon, so he's all grown up. You guys, thanks again. Bye for now. I'm coming.